Hello, boys and girls. Today we are on lesson 11.10, and we're going to talk about same area, different perimeters. The other day we talked about same perimeter with different areas. Today, same area, different perimeters, and we are on page 681. All right, let's get started with our essential question, which is, how can you use perimeter to compare rectangles with the same area? So again, same area today. Unlock the problem. Marcy is making a rectangular pen, so a rectangle, to hold her rabbits. The area of the pen should be 16 square, meters, with side lengths that are whole numbers. And whole numbers are just those numbers that we count by, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so on. And then finally, the big question is, what is the least amount of fencing she needs? So what we're trying to find is a rectangle with an area of 16 that has the smallest perimeter. So the least amount of fencing would go around the outside, so we want the smallest perimeter we can come up with. All right. So, question over here in the little box, what does the least amount of fencing represent? Just what I mentioned, the smallest perimeter. Smallest perimeter. Okay, so all the way around our rectangle, we want to get the smallest we can. And if you remember some clues from our 11.9, some of those things are going to apply today as well. But we'll walk through it and talk about it again. So in our activity, we're going to use 16 square tiles because our area is 16. And we're going to make rectangles. Make as many different rectangles as you can with the 16 tiles. Record the rectangles on the grid. And the reason we want to record them is so we don't do a rectangle more than once, or we don't forget a rectangle. Write the multiplication equation for the area shown by the rectangle, and then find the perimeter of each rectangle. So we have a lot going on. All right, so one of the first things we're going to do, we always talk about, is if I know my area is 16 squares, then I'm just going to make a 1 by 16 to start with. So I'm going to start here in the corner, go 1, that's my height, and then my width is going to be 16. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there is my 1 by 16. Okay, so I need to label my sides. So it's a 1 by 16. I'll put that right here on the top as best I can. 1 by 16. So the area is 1 times 16, which equals 16 square meters. Now I need to find the perimeter of that rectangle as well. So if I look at this one more time, 1 plus 16 is 17. That's only halfway around. So then I need to add up the other half, 17 plus 17. And 7 plus 7 is 14. And I add up my tens column, that's 3 tens. So 34 is my area, is my perimeter for that rectangle. Perimeter is 34 meters for a 1 by 16 rectangle. So in my next rectangle, I'm going to plan and make it the height as 2. I'm going to scoot over just a little bit. My height is 2, and my width is 8. So my width is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because 2 times 8 equals 16. My area is a 2 by 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Two groups of 8 is 16. Now when I go to add up my perimeter, it's 2 plus 8 is 10. So that's halfway around. 10 plus 10. My other 10 is here, right? 10 plus 10 equals 20. So I can write that down here. My perimeter is 20 meters. So my 2 by 8 rectangle has a perimeter of 20. All right, now I have to think of two other numbers that multiply together that equals 16. 3 times something, I have 3 times 5 is 15, and then 3 groups of 6 would be 18. I can't get 16, so 3 won't work. Let's try 4. 4 times 4 does equal 16. So I have to come over here, draw my 4 by 4 rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have a 4 by 4 rectangle. And I know that area is 16 because 4 times 4 is 16. So when I add up my perimeter, 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 4 is 16. So my perimeter of a 4 by 4 is also 16. The area is 16 square meters. The perimeter is 16 meters. So to use the least amount of fencing, and again, fencing goes around the outside of an object, right? To use the least amount of fencing, Marcy should make a rectangular pen. So we got to look at our least amount, which is right here. So we need to make a rectangular pen with the side lengths of 4 meters and 4 meters. So blank meters is the least amount of fencing Marcy needs, and that's 16 meters of fencing altogether. And that's what that means right there, the perimeter of 16. Okay. And the model math, how did you determine what rectangles to draw? Again, I always start with the 1 by something. So if my area is 16, it's 1 by 16. And then I go to, my next step would be, okay, make a height of 2. Do I have a 2 times something equal to my area, which was 16? And I did, 2 times 8. Then I tried 3. I couldn't make 3 times something equal 16, so I had to skip that. And we finally went to 4 because 4 times 4 equals 16. So I just went kind of in order, right? I have a pattern, and that way I don't miss something. All right, let's look at try this. Try this says draw 3 rectangles that have an area of 18 square units on the grid, and then we need to find the perimeter of each rectangle. Shade the rectangle that has the greatest perimeter. So first of all, we need to find 3 rectangles. So again, like I mentioned before, 1 by something. 1, and in this case, 1 times 18 equals 18. So now I need to make it 18 wide. That might take me a little bit, but let's get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, maybe just a little off on my drawing, but that is all right. So there's my rectangle, and its measurement, 1 by 18. So 1 times 18 gives it an area of 18 square units, looks like. My perimeter, that 1 plus 18, so 1 plus 18 is 19, and then that's halfway around, so now I have to go the other half. So 19 plus 19, there we go. 9 plus 9 is 18. Add up my tens column, 38. So on this rectangle, my perimeter equals 38 units. All right, so next up, we did a 1 by 18. Let's try 2. So if I can go 2 times something equal to 18, and again, it has to equal 18 because that's our area. 2 times 9 is equal to 18, so 2 times 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So finish off my rectangle. See if I can draw it a little better. There we go. And again, my measurements are 2 by 9. 2 times 9 equals 18. So my area is 18 square units. Now let's take a look at our perimeter. 2 plus 9 gets me halfway around. 2 plus 9 is 11. And 11 plus 11, that one's an easier math problem, equals 22 units. So my perimeter is 22 units on a 2 by 9. All right, so it did tell us to draw 3 rectangles. Right up here, 3 rectangles, so I have one more. And I need to think, okay, I tried 1, I tried 2. Does 3, a height of 3, can I do that? A height of 3, 3 times 6 equals 18. So I draw my height of 3, and I go over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. I label it. A height of 3, a width of 6, and 3 times 6 is 18. I have 18 square units as my area. Now I need to check out my perimeter, and my perimeter is 3 plus 6. That gets me halfway around. 3 plus 6 is 9. So 3 plus 6 is 9. And 9 plus 9, the other halfway around, equals 18. My perimeter is 18 units. Okay, so I made my 3 rectangles. I found the perimeter of each. And then the last thing it said was to shade the rectangle that has the greatest perimeter. All right, so let me check out our perimeters. It was 18 units, 22 units, and 38 units. 38 is the greatest, so I shade that in. There we go. And that's my answer. So on the previous lesson, the square always gives us the biggest area if the perimeter stays the same. This one, if our area is the same, the greatest perimeter is always the long, skinny rectangle. So it's the opposite, right? It's the opposite of yesterday. All right, let's take a look at share and show. 5 questions here. Pause the video and work through those 5 questions. When you're done with those 5 questions, resume the video to check your work. I'll let you pause now. All right, boys and girls, I'm assuming you did 1 through 5, and now it's time to check our work. Question number 1, the area of the rectangle at the right there, that little green one, is blank square units. So I'm going to measure it. That's 3 by 3, and 3 times 3 equals 9. Or you could count up the units, but I'd like to use the multiplication for practice. So the area of the rectangle at the right is 9 square units. The perimeter, I have side lengths of 3, so 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. Or what I could do is I have 4 groups of 3, which is 4 times 3 equals 12. I have 4 3s, so I can multiply because they're all the same. Either way, my perimeter is 12 units. Number 2, draw a rectangle that has the same area as the rectangle in exercise 1. So the same area is 9, but with a different perimeter. So I think about, okay, I need an area of 9. Well, that's going to give me, I'm just going to start with 1 and do a 1 by 9. So there's my height of 1. Now I go my width of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so my area is 9. I have a 1 by 9. So I drew a rectangle that has an area of 9, and it's going to have a different perimeter. If we look at question 3, the perimeter of the rectangle in exercise 2, this one right here, the one we drew, is blank units. So now I need to add up my perimeter. Okay, well, 1 plus 9 is 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. Or 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19, plus 1 more is 20. Just have to add them all up, right? And so my perimeter on that rectangle is 20. That is the only other rectangle you could draw that has an area of 9. Okay, so if you have a rectangle with an area of 9, it's either a 1 by 9 or a 3 by 3 rectangle. Question 4. Which rectangle has the greater perimeter? Well, the perimeter of the rectangle here was 12 units. The rectangle of the one I drew was 20 units. So which rectangle? That's the one I drew, which is a 1 by 9 rectangle. That is not what I wanted to draw. Let me fix that. That does not look like a 9. The one I drew was a 1 by 9. There we go. That had the greater perimeter. If you were given, number 5, if you were given a rectangle with a certain area, how would you draw it so it had the greatest perimeter? And I mentioned that a little earlier. It would be the long, skinny rectangle, long and skinny, okay? Or the other way we can write that is a 1 by something. So that will always give you the greatest perimeter, the 1 by something. If it was an area of 9, it's a 1 by 9. If it's an area of 18, it's the 1 by 18 has the greatest perimeter. Okay? So that's going to do it for today, boys and girls. We'll talk about the assignment, whether it's HMH or an iPad assignment of some other kind or a workbook assignment. So we'll talk about that. Do your best, persevere. As always, it's Mr. P, and I am out.